All right. It is Thursday, July 17th. And finally, today's the last day of the All-Star break, man. It felt like forever, right, without baseball. But tomorrow we get back into the swing of things. The Yankees going up against the Atlanta Braves. But before that, man, I was just reflecting on the first half of the season, going into the second half, and just looking at some of these splits here, some concerning stuff that I found that we'll get into. And I just want to talk about, look, the keys, the major keys that the Yankees need to address going into the second half if if we expect to have any success this season. Obviously there's some obvious ones, right? Uh but before we do that, man, let me say what's up to the chat real quick. What's good, Dev Finch? Let's say what's up to the chat. Hold on a second. Let me switch this up here. No, let's keep it right here. We got Dev Finch in the building. He says, what's up, Jason, CT, and everyone? That's what's up, man. Merc so saucy. Yes, we definitely do. Yeah, man, we got some issues. CT Cards, Yankees need a starter like Seth Lugo. That'd be nice, man. Him and Garcia in a package, that'd be crazy, right? There's so many options out there. It's gonna be interesting to see what Cashman and the Yankees do. What they cannot do is nothing, right? Doing nothing will be just, oh man, that'd be insane. Like I mean, if the Yankees don't do anything, this trade deadline is pretty much them throwing in the towel and saying, "Hey, we're just gonna wait for next year." But yeah. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, right, the first major key for me, right, is hitting with runners in scoring position, right? Runners in scoring position is a huge problem with this team. For some reason, when I'm looking at these splits here, and I'll switch to that in a second. Let me take this off real quick, and let me shoot some hearts for my guy Andrew, who's he's a fake Yankee fan, low key. Andrew, stop lying, man. Come on, dude. Real quick before we jump into runners in scoring position, this guy Andrew, right, spends more time in Yankees chats, watches more Yankees games than Dodger games, man. Get out of here, Andrew. Come on, man. What's up, Ken? But yeah, so let's take a look at these splits real quick. So this is let me see. All right, runners in scoring position. We'll go individually. I'm not gonna grade anybody's first half or anything like that. But for right now, I just want to talk about how these players are doing individually with runners in scoring position, because this has been a huge problem for the Yankees, a huge problem this season. Let me switch my camera real quick. All right. So Aaron Judge, right, he's batting .365 with runners in scoring position, 74 at bats. Let me know if you guys can see this good. He's not a problem there. Cody Bellinger, we'll sort it by average. Let's do that. Cody Bellinger's batting wait, what happened here? Okay. Paul Goldschmidt, 359 and 78 at bats with runners in scoring position. Cody Bellinger, 313. And then after that, it starts getting real ugly, really fast. Let's zoom in here. Austin Wells, right, batting .250, not terrible, with runners in scoring position and 80 at bats. With an on base percentage of .284, slugging .538. So he's not doing terrible. He's .250. It's not super terrible. Jazz Chisholm as well, .230 with runners in scoring position, and 74 at bats, 17 hits, 3 home runs, 24 RBIs. And then it starts getting a little worse, right? Giancarlo Stanton, obviously, doesn't have that many at bats. He just came back. He's batting .231 with runners in scoring position. Anthony Volpe, right? We all know that Anthony Volpe, he has in terms of RBIs for a shortstop, it's not terrible, but it's because he's batting with runners in scoring position every time, it seems like. Anthony Volpe with runners in scoring position he's batting .196. All right, his on-base percentage is .266, slugging .346, OPS .612, 27 strikeouts and 107 at-bats, Um, 39 RBIs. That's, you know, it's gonna look good, the RBIs, because by far, man, he has the most at bats with runners in scoring position than any other Yankee. And this is what's killing us right now. And this is not a bash Volpe thing, but we obviously Volpe's struggling. But it seems like every time he comes up to the plate, there's runners in scoring position. He has the most at bats with runners in scoring position by a lot. By a lot. Okay, he has 107 at bats with runners in scoring position. The next most at bats will be Cody Bellinger and Austin Wells, and they're tied with 80 at bats, and they're not doing terribly bad. So he's killing them. Jason Dominguez, right? We all love Jason Dominguez, and this is gonna be a little bit negative, right? That's why it's his keys to Yankees second half. Like, what needs to be addressed? Jason Dominguez he's had a good first half, right? And we all love Jason Dominguez, but with runners in scoring position, he has not fared too well. Okay. With runners in scoring position, 71 at bats, right? 14 hits, 3 doubles, 25 RBIs, but a 197 batting average, right? Let me see if I can zoom into this right here. A 197 batting average, 274 on base percentage, slugging at 282, and OPS 556. This is with runners in scoring position so far this season. Those are not great numbers, man. He's right there with Volpe. You know, the only thing that's saving him is that he has 36 less at bats with runners in scoring position than Volpe, but he plays a lot less games too. So he's coming up. He's getting chances to produce, and he just hasn't really done the job, right? Paul Goldschmidt, obviously great with runners in scoring position. The 78 at bats, he's batting 359. So that's great. Who else we got? Trent Grisham, right? There's the next one. We all know Trent Grisham. He had a great first half. Just phenomenal. Well, I will say like the first half of the half. Great first quarter, right? But Trent Grisham, in 50 at bats with runners in scoring position, is batting 180. On base percentage is good, 369. So it's not terrible, but 180 with runners in scoring position, not what you want to see. Ben Rice, runners in scoring position, batting 164. On base percentage 299. Slugging 273. Like these are things, man, that this if the Yankees want to find success in the second half, this has to be fixed, man. These are not good at all. Let me try to fix this thing here. Hold on. There we go. All right, that looks better. Ben Rice, 164. It's just, look, and I get it, a lot of these guys are young, right? But this cannot sustain, man. These are guys that are getting a lot of at-bats in big situations. And pitchers, you could tell that teams have figured this out. Like, they'll pitch around Judge. They're going to walk him all day. They're going to pitch around Cody Bellinger and stuff and try to get to these holes right here. Oswaldo Cabrera, obviously, he's hurt. JC Escarra has actually, in 21 at-bats, is not doing bad with runners in scoring positions, batting 286. DJ LeMahieu was another guy who was doing well with runners in scoring position. In 38 at-bats, he was batting 289, on base percentage of 341, slugging 316, not the greatest, but I think that these guys here, like Ben Rice, Trent Grisham, Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, these guys are getting a lot of at-bats with runners in scoring position, especially Volpe and Dominguez, and they haven't been able to come through. That needs to be addressed. I think another bat, a third baseman that can actually hit in that lineup, maybe that helps, right? But I think that teams have figured this out. That they're like, you know what? We'll pitch around these guys. We'll put them on base. We'll load the bases up just to get to these guys, you know? So that's one thing that the Yankees definitely, man, they gotta fix this stuff, man. This stuff has to be addressed. Runners in scoring position. Um, it got to be fixed, man. It has to be fixed, especially those guys, man. Those young guys, they got legs too, like Volpe and Dominguez. We need them to put the ball in play more with runners in scoring position because their strikeouts are really high with runners in scoring position. They need to get the ball on the ground and let their legs do the work. Let their legs do the work, right? But we got a bunch of chats in here, man. Let's say what's up to the chat real quick. Let's go over here. Who we got, man? CT Cards, what's up, my guy? Jake says Dominguez is better than Volpe, has been these past 3 seasons. No hate on Jason. No, Jake, this is runners in scoring position. That's all I'm talking about right here. This is runners in scoring position. And runners in scoring position, he has not done much greater than Volpe. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. I'm not making this stuff up. This is pulled straight from MLB.com. This is the runners in scoring position splits. And Jason Dominguez, granted, he got 36 less at bats. In 71 at bats, he's batting 197. On base percentage 274, slugging 282. Right? OPS 556. Anthony Volpe in 107 at bats is batting 196, 266 on base percentage, slugging at 346. So that's what I'm talking about. The hitting with runners in scoring position, basically. You know, I mean, I get it. And look, I love Dominguez too, and he has had a way better, in my opinion, first half than Volpe overall. But with runners in scoring position, they, according to the stats, they're the same player, pretty much. But he's hitting 259 against lefties. He's improving. Hey, I'm just talking about runners in scoring position. That's it, man. That's all we're talking about. Jake said, Cashman better stick to his word, man. He quite literally said they're going to town this trade deadline. I mean, he didn't say that at all. He didn't say that. He said that there's some stuff that needs to be addressed, and he's doing. He kind of danced around that, but when you say he quite literally means he didn't. You know, Jake. No offense, man, but I'm hoping that he does, and he puts in work this offseason, this trade deadline. But I mean, it's a lot that goes into that, and it's a look. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if he goes and gets these guys we want, but trades somebody we don't want to trade, we're gonna bash him. Or if he goes and gets these guys and they don't perform, we're gonna bash him anyway. So I think in this case, right, he just needs to improve in third base, improve in the bullpen. Like, we just got to get the team better. That's it, man. Half the fan base is going to be happy with who he brings. The other half won't. That's just the way it works. Rob Saxon, what's up, man? So you're saying swap Volpe and Judge and put Dominguez behind Volpe? No, man. That's not what nobody's saying. I'm saying the Yankees need to hit better with runners in scoring position. That is the whole point of this. And the Yankees must hit better with runners in scoring position. I'm just talking about the offense now. If they can do that, right? If guys like Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, Ben Rice, who's another one who's batting terrible with runners in scoring position, or Trent Grisham, you know, those 4 guys right there, if they can just do somewhat better, you'd be surprised how many games, right? I'm not going to go back into specific at-bats, but their numbers with runners in scoring position are horrible. Horrible. Ken says Grisham came out hot, but you knew that he was going to bounce to his. Yeah, I mean, but that's no excuse for batting. For batting 180 with runners in scoring position. In 50 at bats, he's batting 180 in runners in scoring position, 14 strikeouts. I would give it. He does have 15 walks though, so that's good. Where Jason Dominguez only has 8 walks, Anthony Volpe 10 walks with runners in scoring position. And 71 at bats, guys. Look, and this is not a bash Jason Dominguez or Anthony Volpe. I'm just saying that these guys gotta do better. They gotta do better. Jason Dominguez is 71 at bats, right? With runners in scoring position, batting 197, right? 30 strikeouts and only 8 walks. That means that he's chasing, he's swinging at pitches he probably shouldn't swing at. So that needs to be addressed, man. That needs to be fixed. CT Carr say, I'm going to say it, Trent Rice, Volpe, Spencer Jones are going if we want to make a splash trade. Well, yeah, that's what's got to happen. Dodgers should trade Scammer Scott to the Yankees for Weaver. Hell no, man. Unless y'all going to pay for him, we'll take him. Miguel Garcia, right? CT Cars brings up Miguel Garcia. I would love to get him and Seth Lugo. I think that fixes the rotation and third base, right? That's 2 birds with 1 stone. What they're asking, or what can we even make a trade like that? You know, I think we could, but we'd have to give up something. And then the whole, Garcia and Jazz Chisholm, I think Volpe too. They had some issues, right? Some so-called drama. I think that'd be squashed, man, if he was to come to the team. There's a lot of chats, man, here. What's up, Sean Browning? Pereira, Peraza, Selvage to KC for Garcia and Lugo. I don't even think they'll do that, man. I really don't. Dev, what's up, Dev? John S. Will the Yankees make a big trade? Whoa, what was that? You saw my lights kind of flicker there? They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. The crazy thing is that it has to be, man, look, the Yankees are in a position where it has to be more than one trade too. That's the thing. Like, one trade is not gonna fix this. Hold on, I'm coming back. Sorry, I just switched my camera. My foot is doing much better, actually. I'm hopping around. It still hurts, but I'm hopping around. I'm getting there. As far as the Yankees, the thing is, a big trade, one trade might not fix the issues that we have, right? It's gonna take multiple trades. As I look, let me try to pull up the bullpen stuff, because the next thing, man, is obviously the pitching. The pitching is an issue, the rotation and the bullpen. But if I had to choose between the rotation and the bullpen, if I could only fix one, this is my opinion, I would fix the bullpen. I feel like the bullpen is gonna be more important down the road. As we get closer to September, as the postseason race starts heating up, and as we get into the postseason, I think that the bullpen has to be addressed. Either that, or guys like Jonathan Loaisiga is going to really have to step up. And he hasn't shown me anything that says that he will. I'll be honest. Guys like Luke Weaver, right? Even though I like Luke Weaver, and I think he's going to do better than what he has recently, right? But I don't know. The bullpen to me is a big, big problem. A big problem. I don't trust them to hold the lead, any lead at that. It could be a 6-run lead. I don't trust them to hold it, and that's why I say the bullpen over the rotation. But if you could fix the rotation while you add it too, and by fix I mean you just got to add a starter in there, a legitimate starter, and we'll be all right. Celia, what's up? She says, hey, Merc, hanging in there right now, trying to pop on these chats as much as I can. Emmanuel Classe, depends on what they want for him, but let's say you do get Emmanuel Classe, CT, right? Is he the closer? Does he walk in Yankee Stadium and he's officially the closer? Um, or is Devin Williams the closer right now? It seems like he is. I don't know. Or do you platoon all three of them as closer? Those are questions, man, that got to be addressed too before you bring somebody like a guy like Emmanuel Clase. He'd be great though. He would. He would. I'm more interested in a guy like this right here. Look at that K-9. Like, that would be a huge pickup right there for the Yankees. That changes a lot in this bullpen. uh, Cashman, we're going to town. Hopefully, I can fix what ails us because there's some areas of this team that need fixing. Yeah, I mean, he said we're going to town, but every year they kind of say that, you know. Hopefully, he can fix what ails us. Look, the thing is, you got to understand, man, that this is why I say it's gonna be a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because right now, I'm telling you right now, if he traded Spencer Jones to go get some of these rentals that can help us right now, right? A lot of people are gonna be upset. A lot of people. So it depends on who he trades, how he does it, you know, or is he even willing to go deep into the farm like that and to trade some of our top guys? That's you know, that's the thing. And going to town, what is it? You know, what does that mean? You know, does he mean like really going after it, like making big moves, like the Juan Soto trade? Let me ask you guys, because everybody wants Eugenio Suarez, right? Who are you willing to give up for Eugenio Suarez, or who are you willing to give up for Garcia and Seth Lugo? You know what I mean? Like, who are you willing to give up? That's the key. That's what I think that us as a fan base, this is where the trouble lies, right? Because we all want these players. But then when we say, okay, trade this guy, and everybody's like, whoa, no, we're not trading him. No, whoa, we're not trading him. You can't trade this guy. You can't trade that guy. And it's like, well, look, if you're not willing to trade somebody, then don't expect to get anything back. You know, that's, you know, I think John says, when would the first trade be? I think it's going to start heating up now. Now that the draft is over, you know, these front offices, man, it may not seem like a huge deal. It's not as big as like the NFL draft or the NBA draft, right? But all the focus is on the draft, right? These guys are out there recruiting. All the scouts are all over the place. Regional scouts, they checking on guys, so they're all focused on the draft. Now that that's over and the All-Star break is over, I expect to see more trades. When would the first Yankees trade be? Who knows, man? You know, you can't predict the market. That's an old stock market saying, right? You can't time the market. You just can't. It's gonna happen before August 1st, right? I promise you that something will happen. Or before July 30th or whatever, whenever the trade deadline is. Uh Merck says, well, I read today the Diamondbacks are looking for young pitching. Cam Schlittler. A lot of people are going to be upset about that one too for a rental. CT says he'd give up Rice, Trent Grisham. I don't understand why they will want Trent Grisham, though. That's the thing. You got to understand that Trent Grisham, if a team takes Trent Grisham, it's a 2-month rental on him. It would have to be a team that's contending. I would say a contending team that really needs an outfielder. They might take Trent Grisham, right? But the Royals, who are not nowhere near a playoff spot right now, why would they want a 2-month rental? They're gonna want young guys, man. But even CC saying he'll give up Rice, Spencer Jones, and Trent Grisham or a third player to get Seth Lugo and Garcia. That's what I'm assuming you mean. That's a lot too, man, right there. A lot. Let me look at the Royals real quick. Central. Let's look at the Royals standings. Yeah, the Royals are way out of it. They're done. And then in the NL West, the Diamondbacks are pretty much out of it too. So yeah, two teams like that, they're not going to trade for rentals, man. Sheila says, I don't think it's necessarily wise to give up Jones or Lombard, but it's like you have Judge, Cole, and Fried on this team. Their window is closing. They got to win. Yeah, that's the thing. See that, and that's the whole point of a lot of this that I try to explain to people. That look, if you want to win now type thing, like we need to win now by any means, then everybody's on the board, right? Everybody's on the table. But a lot of fans, that's what I'm saying. Cashman, he has a tough task ahead of him because no matter what he does, half the fan base will be happy, the other half won't. You know, even though winning will cure all of that, right? No matter what he does, if we win, then we'd all be happy. It'd all be worth it. But imagine trading a Spencer Jones for a guy like Suarez, and then we get bounced in the ALCS or something like that, and he moves on and signs with the freaking, I don't know, whatever team he signs with. It's a tough one, man. That's a tough pill to swallow. So that's what I'm saying, man. Cashman, like, and no sympathy for him too, because a lot of this is of his own making, right? So I'm not gonna be here and sympathize too much for him, but he has a tough job ahead of him, and a lot of it is of his fault. You know, he got to see it. This is the roster that he constructed. I didn't do it. You didn't do it. Boone didn't do it. This is his roster, so he's got to take that one on the chin and make some tough decisions. This thing turned into a thing. So we started off talking about the runners in scoring position. It's a huge problem for the Yankees. Huge problem. They gotta do better with runners in scoring position or runners on base. Period. I mean, your guys like Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, they're batting. They're doing phenomenal with runners in scoring position, and other teams know that, so they're not gonna let them beat them. Everybody else in that lineup needs to really step up. Really step up. Yeah. And you know, batting with runners on and 2 outs, another thing. And if we look at scoring position with 2 outs, it gets even worse, man. The splits, they get even worse for a lot of these guys. The runners in scoring position, man, is killing this offense. It's killing this offense. And it seems like it's the same culprits. It's Anthony Volpe has the most at-bats with runners in scoring position. And yeah, they got to figure that out. Let's go over here. Suarez, option 1. Garcia and Lugo, option 2. Option 3, Bednar, Class A. Garcia and Lugo, that'd be a great move right there to me. That'd be a big-time move. The whole Suarez thing, like, I could see the Yankees getting it done, but it depends on what the Diamondbacks want, you know, and what other teams are offering too. Remember, there's 29 other teams, guys. There's 29 other teams. So we're not the only ones putting in offers for these guys. If for a guy like Suarez, man, for a lot of these players, even like a guy like David Bednar, I feel like you're going to have to overpay a little bit because teams are going to be very interested, especially in pitching. They're going to be interested. And then a guy like Suarez, man, this dude has 31 home runs right now. Like, I could think of a whole bunch of teams that could use him right now. The Dodgers could use him right now pretty badly, you know. Just saying, man. Gonna be tough. I don't think they trade him to the Dodgers, but for a 2-month rental, they might. Jason, don't deny us. Nobody knows, man. Nobody has inside info. Hamilton, Hill, Schlittler for Eugenio Suarez. Damn, but you trading. All right, so how do you fix the bullpen though? See what I'm saying? Like, I would do that right there. Hamilton, Tim Hill, and Cam Schlittler for Eugenio Suarez. Now you have two big problems, right? You need a starter, and you need you need a whole bunch of bullpen arms after you make that trade. So it's tough, man. That's what I'm saying. It isn't an easy thing that Cashman has ahead of him, you know. But I'm hoping he figures it out and pulls it through, because we're gonna have to move like 4 or 5 players, man. I think. Okay. The first trade already happened. Royals traded for Adam Frazier. Oh yeah. But that's not a. But I think he meant like the Yankees, right? The first trade technically already happened when Rafael Devers got traded to San Francisco. So, I mean, when these big time names really start getting traded. Three-team trade with the Royals and Indians. It could possibly be, man. Ben Rice and a pitcher will be traded for Eugenio Suarez. What do you think? Ben Rice and Cam Schlittler for Eugenio Suarez? And then do you think, 99, do you think that's overpaying? Is that overpaying? Merc So Saucy says, I'll be honest with you guys. If we get Suarez, we're back in the same situation next year. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's going to, with the year he's having, man, he's going to want a lot of money. Lots of money. Garcia will help fix the issue with runners in scoring position. I'm going to be honest, man. I like Garcia and the Garcia and Lugo trade. That trade excites me. That's a trade that I could see really working out, Depends though, man. It's like, what are we giving them? And then even if we do make that trade, we still got some issues, man. We got to fix the bullpen. And then at that point, you go out there and you try to get some arms. You try to get some arms and get rid of some of these arms that are hurting us right now, like Ian Hamilton. You want me to check Garcia's stats or runners in scoring position? Sure, I'll do that. Kansas City Royals. Give me a second, Merc. Scoring position. All right. I'll pull it up right here. I got it highlighted here. All right. Maikel Garcia. 91 at-bats. 23 hits. 253. He's batting 253. He's batting 253, runners in scoring position. On base percentage 314, slugging 374, OPS of 688. So not the greatest numbers, but I like the look. And 91 at bats, 12 strikeouts. That's not terribly bad. 32 RBIs. It's a lot better than Volpe or Dominguez or Ben Rice, or Trent Grisham or any of our guys, man. So, yeah, it's not the greatest, right? But that's definitely a huge upgrade from what we got right now with Vivas and Peraza at third. Celia says, are there a lot of talks about the Royals trading Garcia? I didn't see a lot online. Yeah, there's not much about it. I think they kind of hinted toward the Seth Lugo stuff. I think people were just Obviously, when you look at these teams that are not contenders, that are obviously not contending this year, you're gonna look at all their players. You're gonna nitpick. Obviously, Bobby Wood Jr. is off the table. That's kind of, you know, pretty self-explanatory. But other guys like that, it doesn't hurt to ask. And you never know. For the right play, I think anybody's tradable. Anybody's tradable. You trying to get Merrill Kelly? Did you spell it right? I think he has 2 L's in his name. Merrill Kelly be nice too. Will Warren, Peraza, Pereira for Eugenio Suarez. I would do it. I will give up Will Warren, Peraza, and Pereira for Eugenio Suarez. And then you got to think about it, and then you got to pull a starter from somewhere. Even though I think that, me personally, when Luis Hill comes back, hopefully he can be Luis Hill that he could be the same pitcher we had last year, right? When he comes back, especially if we get another starter, I'd like to see Will Warren go to the bullpen, at least for the remainder of this season, if he stays on this team and doesn't get traded. I think the whole first inning stuff, man, he could go in the bullpen and be a long reliever guy, man. Give you 3 innings, 2-3 innings when you need him. I think it'll be okay, right? I'll be honest, man. I don't have a lot of faith in Will Warren. He does have nasty stuff. When he's on, man, and he's striking out the best of them. But for some reason, man, he seems to find himself into trouble. You just don't know what you're gonna get. It feels like almost every game he pitches, or the majority of them, he finds himself in first inning trouble. And if he could get out of it, he cruises for the rest of the game. But if he doesn't, he's giving up 4 to 7 runs in 1 inning, just like that. I don't know, man. He's not the guy that I want there. Will Warren is not the guy I want up in a big game, a big situation. He's probably the last guy I want up there. Izzy says, how about Is he a good player? Nah, he's trash, bro. Miguel Garcia's batting 253 with a 6. With runners in scoring position, not according to MLB.com, man. Oh, yeah, he's batting 253, yeah. You're right. Yeah, that's why I just pulled it up. 688. It's good, though. That's what I'm saying. It's good. It's not great, though. Let's be honest. It's not. But it's a lot better than anybody else that we have that could play third base right now at the Yankees. So I'll take that, man. Trade Will Warren, not Cam Schlittler. Why doesn't nobody want to trade Will Warren? Will Warren, Ben Rice for Eugenio Suarez and Merrill Kelly. If they would do that, I'd do that in a second. I don't think they're gonna do that though. It's gonna take a little bit more than that, man. You don't want Stroman in the rotation? Hell no. I don't want Stroman in the rotation. I don't. Look, I think if I had to choose between him and Will Warren in a big, big game, Stroman or Will Warren in a postseason game, I will probably go with Stroman only because he's a vet, and he's been there. He looks like he got cojones, he got nuts on him. Will Warren, I feel like when in big spots, man, he looks like a deer in the headlights, man, like a scared pup. So, make a bullpen pitch, more innings. Man, let me tell you something, 99. Most of these guys on the Yankees right now, most of these pitchers, right, are only going to give you like 6 innings. So 5 innings, 6 innings, that's normal these days. That's what you got to understand. That is normal. Of course, we want a guy who could give us 8, 9 innings, 7 innings. But I think Stroman can get up there, but he would have to throw a lot of strikes. And when he throws strikes, bad things happen. I don't want none of these guys. That's the whole point, but we're stuck with them, right? I don't want Stroman or Will Warren pitching in a big game. But right now, unless they make trade for some starters, that's who we got. And if I had to choose between the two, you know, it's so tough to say, but I'm gonna go with a vet, man. I'm gonna go with a vet. Uh I don't know what you guys talking about, man. I'd rather CT in the starting position. CT will throw his arm off, man. Yeah. That's why we need a starting pitcher that can eat innings. It's tough, man. A lot of times it's not even on the starting pitcher, too. If your defense ain't doing what they got to do, guess what? You're throwing more pitches than you need to throw. That's what happened with Max Fried, his last start, I believe. It's just look, that's why I say, look, more importantly, that's why I've always said, more importantly, the bullpen needs to be solidified, man. The bullpen has to be addressed because most of these pitchers, especially versus good teams are gonna make you throw pitches, man. That's just how it is. A good lineup, even if they can't hit you, that's what good teams do, right? A good team, they facing a guy like Turk Skubal, for instance, right? Obviously, they know it's gonna be tough to score a run against this guy or Paul Skeens. But if we can make this guy throw pitches, if we could take each count deep, then eventually he's gonna be out of here, get his pitch count up. And they sometimes the Yankees don't do that. When the Yankees are doing that, then they're at their best. And I said I think Garrett Crochet is winning Cy Young over Terry Scubu. I mean, if the season ended right now, no. We'll see the second half. We'll see the second half. But if the season ended right now, you giving it to Garrett Crochet 99, man. Come on, man. You're making yourself look crazy. All right. But yeah, guys, man, major key, man. There's the lineup. And look, as far as hitting with runners in scoring position, one player is not gonna change that. So that's the whole point of this, right? Like if you get a Eugenio Suarez, yeah, it fixes some of it, right? That's one big bat. But remember, there's 9 other players. So these other guys are still gonna have to step up at some point. They're gonna have to step up. With a guy like Eugenio Suarez or Garcia or anybody like that, it's gonna be huge for the lineup. Don't get me wrong, but it still doesn't fix everything, the offensive problems that we have, which is that we can't hit with runners in scoring position. Plain and simple. And then our bullpen, the bullpen has to be fixed, man. The bullpen must be fixed. We can't look, and this is my argument for why the bullpen is more important than the rotation, or just as important. I say that, right? Pitchers nowadays, they're going 6 innings, 5, 6 innings, right? The bullpen's pitching pretty much half a game, every game almost. Look at that whip, my guy. Come on, man. The bullpen's pitching almost half a game, and they pitch every day. Where a starting pitcher, he's going to give you one start every 5 days, right? A bullpen arm, he's going to pitch in 5 days. He's probably going to pitch 3 of those 5. So that's why I think we need to get some bullpen arms, some legit bullpen arms. Pull up, Crochet again. Yeah, he has more strikeouts because he has more innings pitched. He has a lot more strikeouts, but that doesn't really that doesn't. It's close, but I I would put my check that if the season ended right now and they picked the Cy Young today, it would be Scooble over Crochet. Yeah, but you got to understand, it doesn't mean that, right? 99. Oh, because a person has more innings pitched, unless they're on the same team, it doesn't mean because oh he's a better pitcher. It could mean a lot of it could be that the Red Sox don't trust their bullpen, so they're gonna let him go more. Where the Tigers maybe they're okay with just getting seven, get him out of here, save his arm, right? Save his arm and let the bullpen do their work. You know what I mean? So you can't go by that all the time. You just can't go. Every team is different. They have a different situation. Um, that's just how it is, man. Yeah, we also saw how dominant Schoolboy is. That's what I'm saying. To me, if I'm voting, I'm voting for Turk Schoolboy. You know, don't get me wrong, Crochet's a beast and everything, but Schoolboy's that guy, man. That doesn't mean that 99. You don't get it, bro. I can tell that you're young. Like you don't understand. The look the East could be just as bad, right? The Yankees could be in the same position that the Tigers are in. It's just that we're not playing well. The Tigers are playing very well. Okay, every team plays every other team. Granted, you play your division teams more, right? By like what 4 or 5 games each. The Tigers right now, to me, in the American League, the Tigers are the best team in the American League right now. It don't matter what division they in. If they were in the AL East, they probably have a 20 game lead or whatever. I'm just saying, man. You can't really go by that. You just can't. When you're comparing teams and comparing pitchers, right? Every team has different situations. A manager's gonna get let up. He might let a guy go deeper into a game because he knows he has no bullpen or something like that. That's all we're saying. So is you can't. You know what they say. Comparison is the killer of all joy, man. You can't really compare. Every team is in different situations and stuff. It's hard to say like, oh, you know, you can't say the Tigers. The only reason they have that record is because their division, right? That's like when people say, oh, the only reason Judge hits so many home runs is because of the short porch and right. When people say stuff like that, it's like, dude. I mean, I hear the argument, but you got to understand, like, they don't play every game there. They're not playing every game against the White Sox. The same way Judge isn't playing every game in Yankee Stadium. And every home run is not a war scraper, There's so many variables that go into this stuff, man. That's what we're saying. But let me see. I don't know if the pitchers have been announced for tomorrow, but I'm going to try to pull this up anyway. We'll see. Bro, I guess the pitchers haven't been announced then. Um, nope. Yeah, man. I think Scuba's he's a better pitcher. I don't know. I haven't really even looked at their numbers for the NL Cy Young. The whole point, look, it's way too early to be talking about Cy Young or MVP or stuff like that. Unless you mean like if the season ended right now, it's way too early. Man, we got a whole 90 games left or something like that. It's a whole bunch of games to be played. A whole bunch of starts. Let me see. Friday, July 18th. Yeah, Spencer Strider's pitching, but the Yankees haven't announced their pitcher. And versus Schneider, the only people who have faced Strider on the Yankees are Cody Bellinger, who's batting 500 versus him. Jazz Chisholm in 7 at bats is only batting 143. Paul Goldschmidt has a home run, 2 RBIs, and 8 at bats versus Spencer Strider, and he's batting 375 against him. And then Trent Grisham in 6 at bats is batting 167. So most of these guys have never faced him before at all. Now we'll see how that fares. Spencer Strider. I appreciate it, Yassine. Yeah, man, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Again, keys for the Yankees. We gotta hit with runners in scoring position. We gotta fix this bullpen. I say one at the very bare minimum, one legit bullpen arm. I hope like a guy like Jake Bird or David Bednar or something like that. And we need a starter. I really do think that we're gonna need a starter, unless this kid Cam Schlittler just can really, really wow us. But I think right now that he's trade bait, so we'll see what happens with that. And I don't think Frieda's gonna pitch, man, because he has those blisters, and that stuff doesn't heal in just 3-4 days, man. I don't think he's gonna pitch tomorrow. Me personally, I don't think. But we'll see. We will see. So we got the and then the third base situation, right? Third base situation that's got to be addressed, obviously. But even with that, that doesn't fix all our offensive woes. We got to do better with runners in scoring position. I think that's, man, that is just, that's baseball 101, man. You got to drive in runners. You can't, collectively as a team, they're batting terrible with runners in scoring position. And the only guys who are doing good with runners in scoring position, other teams know it already, and they're gonna walk Judge. They're gonna pitch around Bellinger. They they just have to do better, man. We got to figure out this Volpe situation. He needs to snap out of it. And I think personally, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say this, I feel like he's gonna have a hot start to the second half. Mark my words. He's gonna have a hot start to the second half, but then he's gonna taper off again. And that's because I think Volpe really does he needs days off. I get it. He's young and everything, but every year it seems like after the All-Star break, he comes back refreshed, and starts off hot. Even in the beginning of the season, he starts off hot because he's a little bit rested. He needs to be rested more. That's what I'll say. But besides that, man, I appreciate everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna be on later with NFE on NFE's channel. So make sure you tune into that. Go check out. I don't know if he posted the link yet. I'm gonna look for it real quick. Let me make sure I post this before I go. If he has it up there. Man, what the hell? I can't find it. Oh, I can't find it right now. I'll post it up here. You know what? I'll post it to the community chat or whatever. What's up, Chris, man? My guy, Chris the Flash. Yeah, man. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to check out NFE later, man. I'm going to be on his channel, hopefully. And we're going to grade, grade the Yankees, man. The first half. I don't know if he's going to do it individually or what, but it's going to be interesting, man. A lot of people might not like some of my grades because some people that's going to get an F, I'll be honest. But besides that, man, It was a good All-Star break. Tomorrow we go get back into baseball, man. Tomorrow will be on after the game at some point. So make sure to tune in to that. Krista Flash says Volpe. That's your guy though, man. Krista Flash was defending Volpe so hard, man, before the season started. Man. We had a whole freaking hour debate about it. But anyway, man, that's gonna do it for me. I'm out of here. Enjoy your day, everybody. Enjoy, the All-Star break. Tomorrow we get back into the swing of things and we start the second half, and hopefully the Yankees get it done, right? But on your way out, make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. And that's going to do it for me, man. Peace. Later, Stephen B, man.